Be smart. Be smart.
What do you do when you're reading and you find a word that you don't know the meaning of? Do you look it up in the dictionary? Well, not usually. Although with some digital books, you need only tap a word on the screen to see its definition, most people use the context of the rest of the sentence to determine the meaning, because stopping to look up a word, even just to tap it, slows you down and interrupts your understanding of the flow of the story or text. For example, let's say you read the following sentences. Yesterday's meeting was probably the most acrimonious one I've ever attended. Everyone left feeling angry that once again nothing was being done to address their complaints. And let's say you don't know what the word acrimonious means, but you can guess the meaning by how it's used in the sentence. Everyone left the meeting feeling angry gives a clue that acrimonious means something negative. Since people left experiencing anger, then the word must be closely related to anger. Although this approach sometimes leads us to the wrong conclusion, a quick look in the dictionary for the meaning of acrimonious produces a long list of synonyms beginning with bitter, rancorous, caustic, acerbic, scathing, sarcastic, and so on. So we were accurate in using the context of the sentence to guess the meaning of the word, at least in this instance. And even if we're still a bit fuzzy about the meaning of a particular word, we keep on reading with little damage to our understanding of the text because we get the overall meaning from the remaining words, phrases, and sentences. There's always enough redundancy in a text to maintain the overall meaning, even if a small number of vocabulary words are not entirely understood.
Be smart.
Isn't this what we do when we try to determine the accuracy of information that we haven't heard before? Let's say a man with a funny mustache sitting on a park bench tells you he saw a fire at a historic hotel in a nearby town. You would tend to believe him. Old hotels have burned in the past, and the old hotel in question was just about to be condemned anyway. You could be reasonably certain he was telling the truth if you saw him on television on the evening news with video footage to support his claim. Although, keep in mind, magicians will go to incredible lengths to sustain an illusion, and with today's digital technology, any image or video is possible. But if the same man with the funny mustache said he saw a burning giraffe strolling through the park yesterday, you would tend not to believe him. Giraffes wandering around in municipal parks are a rare thing, and if one had escaped from a zoo, it hopefully would be unlikely to catch on fire. Even if such a bizarre event were true, you would expect to hear it from a variety of news sources, not just one man with a funny mustache who happens to entertain a surrealist aesthetic. Keep in mind also that having multiple sources doesn't necessarily guarantee that the information is factual either. Multiple news sources could all be referring to the same erroneous report. Conversely, it might be that a single news source could be doing an investigation and has uncovered facts that other news agencies have yet to discover. That's called a scoop. Ultimately, you need to, 1. Consider the credibility of the source. Does the person or organization have credibility? Have they been a source of reliable information in the past? If they have been, did they make retractions or corrections as they learned better information? Or did they continue to justify their erroneous reports regardless? 2. Consider the context. That is, under what circumstances did you become aware of it? Did you learn this from an obscure website? Did you hear about this from a group of enthusiastic true believers? Did you become aware of this while reading scholarly papers on the subject? And 3, consider the intent of the person or organization. Are they trying to inform you of events, or are they trying to persuade you to form a belief or opinion? If the news source is presenting opinion, do they make that clear, or do they blend their information with their views? It's not a bad idea to put emotionally charged and sensational news in a mental box marked pending further investigation. And don't be afraid to think or even say out loud, I find that hard to believe. It's okay to say that even when you're face to face with the person making the claims. You can say it in a way so as not to appear to be rude by prefacing it with, wow, I find that hard to believe. You don't really need to be told the process of how we accept or reject news we're told. This is just an examination of what balanced, responsible adults already do. Most adults develop an early understanding of what common sense is. They steer clear of creepy people with creepy ideas. Adults use their heads because not using your head inevitably leads to unhappy results. But clearly not all adults do this. Some adults believe in things which don't fit with commonly understood facts. Being fooled by a skillful con artist is one thing. Willfully wandering into a dangerous belief system that defies the facts is something else. So why do people believe in crazy things? Because we all have different personalities, different backgrounds and experiences, reasons will vary. One possibility is a chemical imbalance in the brain or psychological pathology. Only a skilled mental health specialist can determine this. Some people want simple answers in a world of complexity, and they will believe whoever can give them a simple story that will leave them feeling safe. These people will give almost unlimited authority to those who provide simple answers, even though the answers may not only be wrong, but dangerous in many ways to themselves and to their loved ones. Some people fall victim to disinformation. Nazi minister of propaganda Joseph Goebbels is attributed as saying, if you tell a lie big enough and keep repeating it, people will eventually start to believe it. Some people and institutions have the ability to lie with a straight face, tell a lie so over the top, so unbelievable that the listener thinks, it must be true. Nobody can make up a story like that. But they can, and they do. Some naivete, as has been noted in previous videos in this series, is the result of the way the gate to our unconscious mind swings open freely to suggestion unless the conscious mind actively intervenes. Which means to keep from being fooled, you have to be smart by consciously and perpetually weighing all incoming messages with the same attitude as an eye-rolling teenager. It's not easy to be consciously vetting every bit of information we're exposed to. Being an intelligent, responsible, reflective, thoughtful adult is a full-time occupation in the information age, and the challenges become greater each and every day. Ultimately, people believe in crazy things because they get something out of it. What that something is might vary from person to person, but they wouldn't be behaving in such a conspicuously irrational way unless there was some kind of reward in it for them. They might feel that believing in this way makes them feel special, that they belong to a small group who knows the truth, that they are part of an important movement in history. They may be rebelling against someone or something. They may think they are too smart to be wrong. They may believe they know it all. They may be so full of themselves that they have no regard how they are looked upon by others.
Be smart.
It might seem counterintuitive, but there's almost no connection between intelligence, education, and beliefs. Just because someone may be smart in one way doesn't mean they're smart in other ways. Some people may have great test-taking skills, but totally lack common sense. Of course, well-balanced, responsible, smart people get things wrong all the time. It's part of the process of figuring things out. The difference is you correct your misunderstandings when you find out you're wrong. The correction may be a small thing you keep inside your head, or it may be something that you want to share with the people who've been impacted by your belief. Whatever it is, you make those connections because it's the right thing to do. Because it will be easier than trying to rationalize your erroneous beliefs. Because it will make your life simpler and provide a foundation for further improvement.
Be smart.
Most of the time, we just don't fact check and don't need to. But there can be times when you may not be certain. Where can you check to find out if a rumor is true or some crazy conspiracy theory has any seed of truth to it? There are many legitimate concerns of mainstream media, mostly about the news they don't cover, about the questions they don't ask, about shallow reporting, about their need to sensationalize the news to increase their ratings. The news, however, is not responsible for supporting someone's pet conspiracy theory. And if they do support a conspiracy theory, you can cross them off your list of reliable resources. It is sometimes the case, of course, that a rumor happens to be true. And because there is no public information available or investigative reporting completed, you can't check it against reliable sources. In these instances, it's perhaps best to adopt a wait-and-see attitude. But again, use your adult sense of what is pushing the limits of likelihood and what isn't. Would the world be a better place if no one ever believed crazy things? Maybe, maybe not. While some weird beliefs cause harm to those who hold them, to their families and communities, other people hold unorthodox ways of thinking, believing, and behaving that create insights into our world that help catapult us ahead in science, in art, in literature, in music, in all of our human endeavors. Without them, our culture would become stagnant and fixed in old ways of thinking, seeing, and doing.
Be smart. Be smart.